What's up, everybody? How's it going? Today, we are going to be adding syntax highlighting to a code editor. So, I'll show you guys what I've done since the last time first. If we go ahead and launch this up and skip these errors, we can go in here and check this out. So, if you were here last week, then this probably looks familiar, except with a lot more features. We have a code editor. You can see I can skip around using control and arrow keys. I can select characters that way too. So this works similarly to how it does in VS Code. If I go in here and we open up the same file, we can go ahead and test something real quick. So if I just go through, select a few things, and then I go in here and do the same thing, it should perform basically the same way. And it may look weird too. So if I go in the reverse order, you'll notice it's different, right? So if I start from here and I skip, you'll notice I skipped this parenthesis and that first letter. But if I go backwards, I go here, I skip. Well, I guess it does the same thing there. I'm trying to look for, this is a better example, right? So if we do this, you'll notice I skip over the parenthesis, right? So here, I skip directly over it. And if we do the same thing here, I stop right before the parenthesis. It's kind of weird, right? There is a method to the madness, and Visual Studio does the same thing. So if we do this, I go here, and I go, it skips over the parenthesis. Whereas if we go down here and start from here, it stops at the parenthesis. So there's a lot of weird rules that I tried to reverse engineer and basically do the same thing, and I've gotten it pretty close. So I'm very happy with that. I also have the end and the home keys working. Another interesting thing I ran into while implementing this was if you go and just keep pressing home at the end of a tab, it kind of goes back and forth, toggles like that, which same thing here. So kind of interesting. Voxriffs, how's it going? And have I seen this yet? Text box behavior. I am not sure. No, oh man, I'm gonna look at this though, because yeah, this would have been helpful. I was looking for lots of different things, but this is very cool. Man, I still don't have the single click, double click, triple click things done yet. And there are a few things. I do have copy paste too. So that was another important one that I wanted added. So we can go delete, I can undo, we've got that. The undo redo has kind of a word granularity kind of thing. So if I go ahead and just do that, you'll notice it'll undo to the backspace, or it should have. So I do that, and then it basically just undoes everything. It should every time I do a backspace or something. So if I, whoops. It should, that's not working right. Okay, so I'll have to fix that. I got to write some tests. Every time I make a change, it's like some other thing breaks, and I have to go through and test these things manually, which is kind of annoying. But it should be adding undo history whenever I backspace and stuff. And it's not doing that anymore, which means I have broken something. I do also have copy paste though. So if I copy that, I can go ahead, whoops, paste it there. You can also do Control A, copy, and it copies it to the Windows buffer. So that means I can go in here and paste, and you'll notice that line is gone because it is copied to the global buffer, operating system level, and not just some sort of local buffer. It's actually really easy with GLFW. So if you're using GLFW, it's literally just get clipboard string, copy clipboard string, or paste or something. I don't know, but it's very easy. And then I think those are the biggest features, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it took a while. And then of course you can go down, you can go up. Oh, also if I copy this, go down, you can see I get a scroll bar. I can scroll up and down. I can select multiple stuff. If I go ahead and delete a bunch of stuff, it's gonna scroll me up so that I'm kind of level with it, right? Which is good. And the scroll bar disappears once you lose a certain amount of things. So that's all good. Also, if I go ahead and save that, it's going to go put out something. I'm missing a parenthesis. So say I'm over here and I notice an error. If I click on it, it opens up here. It puts the cursor on the line that it thinks is line, which unfortunately is line 4. So you can see that here. I don't know why. It says line 1 here, but for some reason Luau is telling me line 4 in their metrics. Probably because it's like going down to here and sees that this is where the parenthesis should be or something. I don't know. But anyways, it does open it up. If I go ahead and do this again, if that's closed, it'll open it and then actually like place the cursor, right? Same thing. Oh yeah, and since it placed the cursor, it actually scrolled down a little bit, which is why it was scrolled there. Kind of weird. But yeah, so we've got a lot of good stuff, right? I want to add tests. That's one thing for sure, because that backspace undo not working was like a prime example of why I need some tests. But today, what I want to do is add some syntax highlighting, because it's getting annoying looking at just this. Like, I want some colors. So what I've done to prepare is we have this luagrammar.json that I found online. I've removed a couple things, so I'm still tweaking different parts of the syntax highlighter. You can see there are still problems, and those are problems that I'll dive into a little bit more. It's not going to break it completely. It seems like the only thing that we're not going to get because of those problems is like multi-line strings and multi-line comments and stuff. But other than that, the highlighter should still work, and it'll just skip those. Like those patterns won't work, which is good enough. You know, it doesn't fail entirely. It just fails somewhat, I guess. And I'll eventually go in and add proper support for them. This is interesting too. Oh no, that's just saying, okay, highlight that at param. I thought that was like some weird, there's so many things in this regex library that like I find out about and had no idea it was possible. And that's part of the reason why it gets so hard, because then I find out, I think these begin and end are like one regex, and then they get split somehow later. It's weird. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. Anyways, though, let's go ahead. We're going to add syntax highlighting. So right now, we have this Lua grammar here. And what we should do is we should add a theme. So we'll say syntax theme, const star, so a pointer to a const syntax theme equals, and we'll initialize it to null pointer. And then down here, we will go ahead and say syntax theme equals, and I may have to import, yeah. Wait, do I? Actually, I don't think I do. Yeah, we can just do it from there. Okay, so we'll go equals highlighters get theme, and we will say highlighter theme, and we'll initialize it to Monokai Night, because I do like that one. Okay, anyways, let's see what's wrong with this. This gets a const pointer. This is a const pointer. Oh, syntax, did I spell it wrong? Yeah. Syntax theme. Okay, there we go. Cool, so that's good. Now we have a theme. We have a grammar. So now the next thing to do would be like, let's add highlighting, right? And that's the tricky part. It shouldn't actually be that tricky to start with, but making it fast is going to be hard. And I'm thinking too far ahead. I need to just go get it started, and then once the next problems come up, then I'll start diving into those problems. So if we want to add this stuff here, I'm trying to think of what the best way to do this will be. So we have a highlighter, we have a theme, and then how do we actually use these? We say parse, and that gets us highlights. Okay. And we say parse with a theme. And then we can print debug info if we want. Okay. So what I'm thinking is we'll go into here. This will say syntax highlighter const So reference to a constant syntax highlighter, get highlighter. And the reason we're doing it this way, see, I'm trying to think. Well, actually, yeah, this should be fine. So this returns code highlights, and I believe, yeah, code highlights is kind of like a tree. It doesn't look like a tree, it's a flat tree, but it is a tree. And it also returns the code, which is probably unnecessary here, especially. Wait a second, so let's go do that. And that. Okay. Yeah, if we're passing the code in here, we probably shouldn't be copying it to this thing. For now, we're going to leave it. We're going to leave all of it. We're going to have to do a lot of stuff to change all this up. But that's bad. We don't want to copy it because we've already got a copy. We're passing the copy in here. We don't need to copy it again. But anyways, what I'm thinking is we're probably going to transform this structure a little bit so that we can append and remove things. Because one of the things that's going to be important is incremental parsing. We don't want to have to reparse every single time you change something. Instead, we're going to want to say we changed something here, figure out what's changed, and just parse that part of the file and fix those styles specifically. Because otherwise, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to be very slow. Code editor using C++ OpenGL. Do I hate myself? Clearly not. This is the best way to code a code highlighter because it's or code editor because it's the most fun. I think you're just not having enough fun. You got to go try some other stuff. Okay, anyways, let's go into here and add these functions. So now that we got these, we can go ahead and say return, and we want to return our syntax highlighter and our syntax theme. And actually, I think this is just called Lua grammar. And we're gonna have to modify the grammar a little bit too, because currently it is just for Lua, but we need it for Luau. So we'll change that eventually. I'm just gonna put a couple of asserts in here so that we have that stuff settled. Holofoil, entirely valid. I'm making a game in assembly as we speak. Now that's fun. Ooh, that's one level too low for me. I'm good up here. Okay, so we got this code editor panel, CPP. Okay, so now if we go into here, we're gonna do this very quick and very dirty, and then make it work first and then fix it later, which is the motto of how everything in here goes. But it's been working so far, so you know. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll just say, and this is probably where we want to modify this thing slightly. So we've got this. Let's go into code editor panel.h. And then we'll go ahead and say include, no, this is in parsers. Okay. And we want these. So we're going to put these in here. So each editor has its own list of highlights, tree, and this is eventually going to be its own, like an actual tree. I'm going to clean that up a little bit more. What are we going to call this? We're going to call this that should work fine. Okay, so we have a syntax highlight tree. And then here what we'll say is if syntax highlight tree, no, if panel dot syntax highlight tree dot, so we've got code block and segments. Let's just do if dot size equals 0. This isn't good. We'll eventually add something that like actually tells us how to reparse and everything, but for now we'll just use this as a flag. Parse the syntax. Okay, and then here what we'll say is panel.syntax highlight tree equals syntax highlighter, which we can get from our code editor panel manager. So we'll get the highlighter dot parse, and we want to parse our, ooh, okay. This is another problem too. So one of the things I've done is in order to properly support UTF-8, I've kind of done a weird thing, and maybe it's not weird, I don't know, but it made it easier for myself. And Holofoil, not that insane, using native Linux libraries, not direct communication via drivers. That's still better. I still probably wouldn't go quite that far. At least not for now. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it though. I think that's fun. Why are we not happy here? Did we? Code highlights should be fine, I think. So why are you just failing? Man, I really do hate C++ sometimes though. Like, why can you not find this random thing after adding another include? Do not know. But I guess we'll see. Did I like miss a semicolon or something up here? Oh wait, here we go. Following warning is treated as a error struct using class. Oh. See, the C++ errors are the worst. Like, it's mad because this should be class, this for declaration. But instead what it tells me is, oh, you have a problem in here all the way down here. Like, why are you telling me that? I don't need to know that. Tell me where the actual error is. This is just very stupid. Okay, wait a second. I've got something else wrong too now. Okay, syntax theme. First time using class, now using struct. Okay, I'm using class there. Do I have this somewhere else too? No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe that one is actually a struct. Okay, so this is a class. And syntax theme is a struct. Okay, so that's the problem. Let's try that, see if that fixes it. Okay, and now that's all fine. Still not happy about this though. That makes no sense. Oh, do I have two parser namespaces now? I might, but I don't think I do. No. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Parser's common. Yes, I do. Okay, so that's what's going on. I need to come up with better names, but we should be able to fix that pretty easily. So the problem is this is in the global namespace is the one I want, and that should fix that. Okay, and then same thing here. And now we should be good. Okay. That is for rendering and sound. Yes, I would hope you'd not write drivers for like rendering and stuff, because that would bring it to a whole new level of insane. But I think it'd be fun to try something like that at some point. Okay, so I can't even remember what we were gonna do. at this point. It's completely lost to me. Trying to think. So we've got a text editor. We're trying to add syntax highlighting. And there was a problem that I wanted to check out, which is why I was compiling it. But what was that problem? I have no idea. Okay, I guess we'll continue. So we have this highlighter. I was in here trying to highlight the code. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is the problem I was trying to... Okay. So I am using UTF-8, right, to represent these characters, except it's not actually UTF-8. It's kind of this weird subset that I've done to help out. So if I go in here and I add a character that is UTF-8, that's not in here, like not equals. So if we go copy that and I go and paste it into here, you'll see we get a not equal sign. And hopefully you can see that. It's very small. I'll do a different symbol. Let's see. Can't think of another symbol. Upside down question mark. Well, let's try that one, right? So we'll copy this, paste it in here. You can see we get upside down question mark. Okay. So anyways, my point is we have this. And then if I paste something that's not supported, let's say like an emoji. Let's go ahead in here, copy that. And I paste it here. We get this box with a little question mark. Very small, pretty hard to see, but that's the missing glyph symbol in this font. So we have support, and you can see I can move over these the same. I can select them. Normally this is kind of annoying, right? Because what happens here is these characters are all 1 byte long. Whereas these characters, this one specifically is 2 bytes. I know that because I was debugging some stuff. This one, no idea, probably 2 bytes. This one is like 4 bytes, but it's also a missing character, so we're just rendering the missing character glyph. Anyways, my point is, you can't really just go +1 when you're moving the cursor over these, right? This would be a +2, this would be a +2, this would be a +4, and it complicates a lot of things. So instead of worrying about that, what I did was I go through this pre-processing step. So if we actually go into here, what we do is we actually pre-process the text when we open a file. And if we take a look at what that does, it translates the string to a local byte mapping. And so what that means is basically we go through every character in the file. We figure out what byte to assign to that value, right? So we come up with our own mapping, right? Normally like 32 is the ASCII character code for space. That represents this symbol, which is nothing. I think capital A is like 96 or something, right? Instead of doing that, I come up with my own mapping, which says, okay, map this character to this letter, this character to this letter. And then I basically go through and just do that for everything. And then every time we encounter a character that we haven't seen before, we figure out what to add to it. And so what ends up happening is you get up to 256 unique characters that you can have in a file. So if we actually go down here, and actually let's go down to add char to draw list, because this will illustrate it even more. So if we go into here, there is a section. Oh, maybe it's just add char to buffer. Add code point to buffer. That's what it is. Okay, so if we go into here, let's put a breakpoint, and then I'll copy the not equal symbol again. Let's go here, not equal. Let's copy that. Okay. So when I add a new character here, right? And this was supposed to call where I have this breakpoint. Interesting that it didn't. Oh, it's because I was copy pasting. Okay. So redo. Let's get rid of that. Open it back up. When I add a character to a file, here we go. What happens is we go through, we figure out this string is 3 bytes long. Okay, so this not equal symbol is 3 bytes. I was wrong there. We're saying we want to insert it here. And so what I do is first I translate it to our local byte mapping. This goes through here, basically says, let's figure out how many characters are actually in this string. So then this goes through. This says, okay, so the code point we're looking at here is value 8800. It has 3 bytes, which means we actually have 1 character, which we know. So then what we do is we go down here and we say, let's figure out a byte mapping for this. This goes to our global font, basically says, hey, do we have this code point already? If we do, tell me what our local byte mapping is. If we don't, get me a new one. And so what this does is this says that it actually does have a local byte mapping, which is interesting. I didn't think we would. Oh yeah, because we loaded it before. Anyways, so if it didn't, it would basically reload the font, generate a new font file with that supported and everything. And then if we go down here, finishes up and it tells us the byte mapping is 96. So instead of having to use a 32-bit value, which is what this is, 8800 exceeds 8 bits. What we can do is we can now use 96, which fits in 8 bits, and then we can use that to encode this string. So it's basically just kind of a local encoding that's built on the fly. And now we just go through, we finish, and we say, okay, there was actually only 1 character in this thing. And so then we can set our character buffer to that, and we just translate on the fly, and it all kind of works out. The Randale, or Thrandale, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Aren't emojis in UTF-8 though? They are, just not in this font. So if your font doesn't have like a specific symbol, then you can use the missing glyph to represent that, or you can fall back to a different font. Fallback is a lot more complicated because then you have to have multiple fonts loaded and you have to know which one to look at in case you can't find what you're looking for in the current one. It's the same thing you'll notice with like terminals and stuff, right? If you ever see the box with the question mark, it's because even though they support UTF-8, they don't necessarily have the glyph in the font that they're using to render. So all sorts of things. And it's just practical too, because there are so many possible glyphs. You know, you have billions possible space and you just don't know. And Font Awesome is like something that takes advantage of that, and most fonts don't support Font Awesome's icons. So anyways though, why is this all important? So let's just go ahead and close that. This is important because if we want to go and parse this file up here, yeah, all the way up here. If we want to parse this file, and actually I just realized we're probably doing this in a dumb place and I can do it in a better place. So I'll fix that too. The first time we're parsing is here, and we're actually not going to do it here. We actually need to translate that string back to proper UTF-8 so we can actually highlight it the way we want to, because otherwise the highlighter is not going to work. But that's annoying because that creates a lot of copies. And I would rather not create a ton of copies. Let's actually, instead of doing what we were going to do before, I'm just going to do it in here, which is where we open the file. So just do it once. And this actually makes this part easier too. So we will have to come up with something. I've been debating it. I should probably store the actual string along with the translated string, which doubles the amount of memory you're going to use. But it does mean that for things like this, which needs the original bytes, I can actually do that a lot easier. Either that, or I can like pass the byte mapping through to the parser, but that's not going to work right because then once we get to the regex engine, it doesn't work. So yeah, problems. And this is actually going to be, problematic too. Yeah, I'm thinking of all sorts of things now. So this is going to be problematic too, because if we look at the code highlights, It's stupid UTF-8, it ruins everything. Just makes everything so much harder. If we look at the highlights, these actually use start pose, which is a byte, and end pose, which is a byte, to tell us where we need to highlight certain colors. Which means we need to translate these or something to get them in the appropriate space. And then that's going to be more problems because then when we go to re-highlight, we have to retranslate. Yeah, this is obnoxious, to say the least. For now, we're going to say, to do, this will not work with UTF-8. Fix it. Yeah. That's what we're going to do for now. Just so we can get something up. And then we will make it better later. So now what we want to do is we want to pass it memory.data, which is a file here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say file size +1, just so that we can say memory.data file size +1 equals that, and make it a valid C string. Otherwise, it won't work here. So we can do that. And now that'll translate to a std string and be fine. For the theme, we'll say code editor panel manager, get theme. And then debug info, we may as well print the debug info. It's not necessary, but we will do that just for now, because this is a new grammar that I've never used before. So don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so let's try this. Let's just see what happens. It's not going to highlight anything because we're not actually highlighting stuff, but it should give us a tree that we can kind of look at. So you'll notice if we go here, nothing, but then if I go open up that file, it should trigger. Okay, and you can see we're running into an error. So what is this error? Oh, it doesn't like this string. Okay. Yeah, printing the debug info has been a problem before. Oh, and that's probably why. Wait, no, so this is fine. Yeah, so it looks like we've got a string here, but for some reason, this result is not happy with it. So I'm guessing we either have like corrupted memory or something. Let's do this. Before we do this, gmemory dump memory leaks. And let's just see what happens there. It should tell me if I've like had a buffer overrun or underrun or any of that stuff, so we can go and debug the problem. Okay, so we go into here, we do that. Okay, that took a long time. Yeah, look at that. So we've got a lot of, oh, it's saying memory leaks. Okay, so this is a problem too. If we try and dump it in the middle, it's gonna think there's a bunch of memory leaks because we haven't freed stuff yet, but these are not actually problems. I should add a helper function in here that's like just dump corruption, which would be nice. Okay, so that's not gonna help us. Wait, so that's fine. That's not fine. Wait a second. Does std string take a copy of this? Or is it trying to take ownership? maybe I should provide the length. Let's do that. So I'm trying to see what the length here is. I think it's probably this. Potentially. No, I think it's this one is what it should be. Let's try that. That's weird though. Frecky, from what I saw, string, it takes ownership. There is this line, but I don't know. Yeah, that could be the problem then, if it's actually taking ownership of that, which is weird because I would expect it to copy. I don't know. Maybe that does make sense, taking ownership, but like that feels wrong to me. Let's see. Yeah, still not happy when I try to free it. And it would make sense if it is taking ownership. By the way, even if you set length, it will fall through the same init function. Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I just want to verify very quickly. Does stood string take ownership of charstar? Okay, wait, so you said number 5. Okay, constructs a string with the contents initialized with a copy of the null terminated character string pointed to by S. The length of the string is determined by the first null character. The behavior is undefined if S plus traits length S is not a valid range. For example, if S is a null pointer, the constructor is not used for class template deduction. Okay, which one is 5? 5 is this one. So they're passing a const char. I wonder if I pass a const char if it's going to fix that. Because right now I'm just casting it to char star, which I'm not seeing in here. Let's try that. Const char star. This is all just for a debug thing anyways, which is why I haven't put too much effort into trying to make it better. Because like it's just debug. It's not actually gonna be shipped, so I don't care if it's not working correctly, but clearly I probably should care because it would help for stuff like this. But yeah, it looks like it should copy the memory there. Okay, so now it's having a problem when we try and step over that. Okay, so I'm guessing there's probably something wrong with the string itself. Let's go ahead and see if we're adding a null byte in the correct place. Okay, go here. I was confused for a second there. So if we do this, buffer size is 10,240. Oh, you know what it is. Wait a second. 10,240. Yeah, that's, this is our problem. Okay, so it looks like we're running out of size in our buffer. So we were writing into invalid memory and then it was triggering all this stuff. So we probably wrote into a bad page. That's what the problem is. Let's fix this real quickly so that it throws an error if we try to do something like that. Does it already? It does not. Okay, so we have this buffer size left thing. Okay, and then we just do minus equals here, which is the problem. Let's just add a helper function here. Static void buffer will underflow. Check buffer underflow. Let's do that. So size t, size left, size t, number bytes to remove, right? And then we're gonna do this. Check buffer underflow. And then this will just do buffer size left, bytes written. Okay, And then what we're going to do here is we're going to say G logger assert size left is greater than or equal to number bytes to remove. If not, we have a buffer underflow. Please pass a larger buffer to the tree. I'm wondering if we should do it this way or if we should just, yeah, this is probably better. So we'll return a bool. We'll just say if that, and then we'll just do G logger error, and then we'll just say return true, return false. Okay. And then we can just say here, if that break oh, and this isn't good too, because we will actually overflow before. Will we though? I don't think we will. No, because I think what this is going to do, SNPrintf, will just truncate once it hits that. So I think we'll be fine. We'll see though. Let's just do this for now. Let's see if we get an error and if it breaks and if we actually don't corrupt anything. So we'll do all this. We will do it here too, just anywhere where we have this buffer size left to minus equals. And I think we're good now. Okay, let's see if that fixes things. And then I'll increase that buffer size. Okay. Okay. Let's see what buffer size left is. It should be valid. Okay, it's 0, so that's good. And yeah, we had a ton of errors. Why are we having a ton of errors though? If we break, it should just... Oh, it's because we have... Oh, okay, I see now. So instead of doing this, we'll just say go to end or something, since we're like nested in loops and it's a bunch of annoying things. And then here we'll just say end. And that way we just break out of all loops. That way the first time we hit an overflow, we just immediately get out. Okay, do all that. Okay. And then this is checking if buffer pointer minus buffer is less than buffer size. Yeah, I think this was supposed to be the overflow check. But it doesn't work because buffer pointer minus buffer size will actually overflow, and then this will be greater because we're casting to a size t. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, right? Because what happens is buffer pointer gets plus equals here. It's now greater than buffer size. We check it here. We go to end. So now this is this minus this. Oh, wait, no, that should be fine, actually. Yeah, because we're just getting the total size of this. Okay. So we should actually hit this if statement. Let's see what happens. It works now, but it didn't work before because we never actually stopped if we had an overflow. Okay, so we do that. We're still getting a ton, which is really annoying. We should just be going to here. Where's this get stringified tree thing being used? I should probably find that. Okay, where is this being used? This is being used there. Okay, so that should be fine. So there's nothing else calling into this, so we shouldn't be getting it like a million times here if we go to end. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, we're returning false. So true if we have an underflow, false if we do not. Then when we get to here, if we have an underflow, okay, that's why. So third time, fourth time, what is this? Fifth time's the charm? I don't know. I imagine it'll work somewhat correctly now. Okay, so we do this. There we go. Now we have one, and then we've gone here, and now we're gonna hit this, which is just gonna say we have nothing there. And now this is fine. Now this is fine. Okay. So we're good here now. I do want to fix this though. Instead of doing this, what we're going to say is buffer size -1. We had a buffer overrun, truncate the string. Okay, so now it should work fine because we are no longer corrupting memory and stuff. I'm not giving a very good case for using C++ here. You can do smarter things than what I'm doing to avoid stuff like this, but it is what it is. Okay. Well, this isn't good. Stringified tree is just source.lua, and then we get nothing. And then we do get heap corruption detected, buffer overrun. So we're still actually overrunning the buffer, which isn't good. I wouldn't expect it to just print nothing, though. That's weird. Where were we when we saw all that stuff? I think it was in here. Nope. There we go. Okay, so oh, is it because buffer size is bad? I don't think so. I don't think this changes. Yeah, this doesn't change at all. Oh, I think this is actually, I have this reversed. This is the buffer overrun. This, which was before that, that's weird. No, I don't actually want to open this up, Visual Studio. Okay, I don't know how to get out of that. Let's close that. Okay. Frecky, the way you code with all the namespaces and million static functions always amazes me. I could never properly read your code. I think you could properly read the code. It's just different. I don't know. It's the same as private functions. Static function is private. That's all that is. So, and then regular function is public. So, I don't know. It's not that different. So this used to be just 0, which doesn't make sense to me. Oh, because this is the buffer pointer. Oh, okay. I see now. So the buffer pointer. So basically what we're checking here is if we are still in range, then we just put a null byte at where we currently are. Otherwise, we put it at the end. Okay. Let's try that. And now I think we should finally be good. Okay. We're still not seeing, though. What I would expect to see. And I keep going to the wrong file here. Okay, buffer underflow. Because if we actually go into here, I think the string is valid. Let's see. So I'll close that, open it back up. No. Okay, so the string just says source.lua, and that's it. Let's go ahead and put a breakpoint in here. Oh, I think I have this reversed too. Oh man. Okay. If size left is greater than or equal to, so this is actually where we want to return false. This is where we want to return true. Man, I guess today is just not my day. Let's see. So now it should correctly do the thing we want it to do. I keep reversing conditions in my head and stuff. I don't know. And all this stuff is completely tangential, so it's kind of annoying that we have to do this. Size left is 0. We want to remove 8 bytes. Okay, that sounds right. So now if we look at this, nope, not that one. If we look at this, that looks like a string. Okay, so then if we step over, we step over, we're good. And we still have that, but that's fine. Okay, finally. So now we can actually see what we parsed. It's not the whole thing, but it is a lot. And we can see we get like a control, keyword control, local. And if we take a look, it is parsing this. So it's saying this is a control from 0 to 5, which if we look, that is indeed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The end is not inclusive. And then we get an atom, which is just nothing. Don't highlight this. Then we get an operator from 15 to 1, the equal sign. We get an atom, which is a space. We get a support function, require, which is this. Yeah, so that seems to be working. And already I think it's working better than whatever I have highlighting this stuff right now, because this require, you can see, isn't highlighted. But according to this, it's saying that's a support function. And so if your theme supports highlighting support functions, then we should see a color there. But this is good. So now that I have confidence that that's working somewhat okay, we will continue. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what the next step is. So next step is we're going to go into here. And we are going to iterate through those highlights at the same time that we're iterating through the file. So what we're going to do is we're going to say auto iter, let's do highlight iter equals, I just want to make sure this is right before we actually start the loop. Okay, this is where we start the loop. Equals panel dot highlight dot segments dot begin. Okay. Yeah, that works for me. Cool. So with that, every time we encounter a code block, we have to figure out what color it should be. Kind of. That's the thing. So this is the other problem too. Right now with my syntax highlighter, when we're parsing through, well, okay, I guess I should say it acts in two phases, right? First we parse. This is the parse. I guess this isn't the parse. This is the parse. We've done that once we open the file. So we don't have to do that over and over again, which is good. But the bad thing is, once we parse, we just have a list of styles. We don't actually have the colors, right? These just give us the styles. So then what ends up happening is we go into the theme, which in this case, if we take a look, I said it's going to be Monokai, right? We have all this stuff. Then what happens is we take the theme that we have, figure out, we resolve it, right? We figure out what does this actually correspond to. And so it goes through all of this stuff. Let's say it was the keyword.local, or what was this? Keyword.operator, right? Whoops. So we look through, and you'll notice there's no keyword.operator.lua. And so what ends up happening is we actually look for the best match. And that ends up being this keyword. And so then we go and we find out what color it is. We parse the color. We translate that to an internal representation of a color. And finally, after we've done all this, we can say, this is the color that this block should be. This is bad. It's bad because every single time we just go to render this thing, we're going to be resolving all of these styles. And resolving a style is kind of slow. We could probably make it faster, but that's not the best. That will be important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is we don't have to resolve every time. And so I think what we're probably going to do, and what we should have done in here, is adding in like a style, right? A style pointer here. Pointer, maybe, something like that. I can't remember what the styles are called. Let's actually we'll go into code block. No, code block. Which is this. Code block text. No, okay, it's this thing. I just don't know where we actually... Yeah, okay. So we have this parse code block. Is this it? This might be it. No, this isn't it either. Okay, somewhere in here, I have like an example of how to use all this stuff, but I can't remember what it is. Text animations.cpp. It might be in here. Code block. It is in here. Okay, cool. So this is how we like normally use it, right? So we get the highlights, then we iterate through the text, and then we figure out the text based on the syntax theme. Where's the syntax theme coming from? Here. Oh yeah, so we say syntax theme, we set it to the default color first. Then, if we can, we actually resolve the style somewhere in here. Oh, okay, yeah, so we have this highlights. Oh, okay. So code highlights does include the color, I guess. It does. Oh, okay. So I was going on about nothing. Actually, this is fine. So we already do embed the color in here. I was a little bit smarter than I gave myself credit for and did do this the right way. So that means this is actually a little bit easier. Each of these highlights, let's take a look at it one more time, has a start position, an end position, and a color. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to initialize this to say, IM color text color equals text color, right? All right, we'll call this the highlighted color. Okay, and the text color is just going to be, what is it? Default text color or something? Text color? Text cursor color? Something like that. I've got a color in here somewhere that's like, this is the default. Which, if we go over here, yeah, I'm just going to use this text. It's just white. Okay, so that's the default color. We can eventually change this. We probably should. Let's just do this. We'll say auto syntax theme equals code editor panel manager get theme. And then we can just set it to syntax theme dot. Why are you not happy? Because I probably have to include something. Include that. And now this dot default foreground. Okay. Dot color. Okay. So we're just going to set it to the default foreground color for now. That works. And I think we can also do too syntax theme dot background. We have a default background, and that's probably what we want to use to draw the background. So we'll eventually get to that as well. By the way, hello Shiloh, how's it going? Good to see you. So we've got these three things. Okay, we set it to this for now. We should probably actually do that up here. So for each character, as we're going through this, we basically want to say, figure out what color this character should be if cursor is greater than or equal to the highlight iter first or start, and cursor is less than highlight iter end, because it's not inclusive. And we also just want to make sure highlight iter does not equal the end. Okay, so oh, not the code block. Okay, there we go. So if we're not at the end yet and our cursor is in this highlight iter, then we'll just say highlighted color equals highlight iter color. And we'll just have to do I am color and translate this. That's not what I meant to do. .r. Nope. Highlight color. Let's just do this. I cannot spell highlight at all. Like, that word, for whatever reason, gives me the most trouble I've ever had with typing things. Not sure why, but it just is. Okay, so G, B, and A, and I believe this takes in values from 0 to 255. No, okay, so it does work with that, and these are all floats. Cool. So we do that, and then we just want to use it. Yeah, otherwise, well, actually, first we'll check. Else if highlight iter, well, what we can do is we'll do that, if that. So if we're not at the end and we have this, okay? Otherwise, if the cursor is greater than highlight iter end pose, greater than or equal to, then we'll do that. Okay. And that should be good. So we'll iterate through this. And actually, we should probably check this before. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to change this up anyways. Okay, so do that. So if we're not at the end and the cursor's already in front of what we are, then we increment the highlight iter. Otherwise, and now I can just move this stuff back again because it turned out that we can't actually combine these. Otherwise, we do this, and I have a problem here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that was a lot of stuff, but basically all we're doing is, okay, if this isn't at the end already, so we still have more segments to highlight, and the cursor is in front of whichever segment we're currently on, then we increment it. So we go to the next segment to figure out what the next color should be. And then otherwise, here, if we're not at the end, and this cursor, so the character we're on, is actually in between this segment, then we'll say the color should be whatever this cursor color is. So that gets us a color. And then finally, once we actually go to render the text somewhere down here, right here. Once we actually go, we'll pass that through. We will go ahead and find this and just say, I am color. I don't think I'm actually using that add string to draw list. We'll check though. I am color const color. Okay, so then we have this color. And we can go down to here where we add an image quad. Do I have to do like, oh wait, no, yeah, color. Cool. And that should be that. Let me just make sure. Do I actually use this? I do. But that's just for that thing. So we should be fine. That doesn't actually need a color. We'll probably add it eventually just so that it's all consistent. Okay, so let's see if we get some sort of syntax highlighting. I'll be pretty surprised if it works. Which I guess isn't a good thing to say about my own code, but I think we've all been there. So the thing I'm not looking forward to is reworking all of this parsing, because the tree that I have in here is just horrible. It's a flat tree and it's annoying to work with. I need to like change it to an actual tree structure because then it'll be nicer. Let's just change this so it's consistent. So we will do that. Find this. Do IamColor const color, and then go ahead, find this. And then here we'll just say IamColor 255. So for the next line prefix thing, we'll just render those as white, which should be fine. Oh, and I never, wait, did I? Okay, yeah, I did fix this. No, I still didn't fix the original problem, which was this. Okay, now we should be good. Okay. So now when we open this, yeah, we hit that, which is expected because we're printing the tree, but we don't need to. Okay, it's not working, but we've got something. And it's almost working. You know, it's close. It's kind of close. Not really, but it's almost there. Oh, you know what it is? This is another thing. Okay, so this is working, but do you notice something? Look at this. This highlight is off by 2 characters. Did I not? I didn't select this. Yeah, this is off by 2 characters, right? One thing that I forgot about in the pre-processing step, we remove carriage returns. So actually what happens is this is a carriage return new line, but I've changed it. So now it's actually just 1 character new line. This is carriage return new line, but now it's just 1. So we end up off by 2. And now we're off by 3 here because we've hit another. Now we're off by 4. And so what you can see is this is actually getting the correct text and everything. It's just cascading into a bunch of errors until we get to this stuff. So that's actually really good and not quite what I expected. How do we fix this though? That's the problem. So if we go back into here, what's the best way to fix this? The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this internal representation that I'm using probably just needs to go. And I need to just leave it as UTF-8, even though it's a lot more annoying. It makes stuff like this way, way easier. So I'm probably going to change that back at some point. It's very annoying. I was hoping to keep it in this local byte mapping because it just makes things so much simpler. But I think keeping everything UTF-8 just normally is going to be the way to go here. The one thing I will not concede, though, is stupid carriage returns. Those things were messing so much stuff up. And that's actually what's messing stuff up here, too. Because Windows, you know, let's add a carriage return instead of just a new line. I don't know why, but it messes so many things up. It's horrible. So, yeah, so we're skipping carriage returns. That's why we're off by 1. So what we want to do... See, this is horrible. Okay, this is what we're going to do, and I hate it. So we have this translate string to local byte mapping, which goes and it does all this stuff, right? But then we also have translate local byte mapping to string. And what I want to do is bool no carriage returns. And this is horrible, but this is what we're going to do. Until I fix it, you know, then we can change it. Let's just do that. We'll go here, translate that. And I actually think that's a public function. It is. So we'll go up here. And we'll do that. Yes. Okay. Now, the reason this is bad is because we're basically just copying memory like a million times. And it's horrible, and I shouldn't do that. So, yeah. If carriage... returns, if no carriage returns, I'm gonna do this Okay. If not, no carriage returns. I should probably change this. Include carriage returns for Windows. Let's do that. Okay, so include carriage returns for Windows. And we're going to default that to true. So now what we have is a way to either have the carriage returns included or not when we're translating back. And so now what I'm going to do is just make a bunch of copies, you know? So we're going to say translate local string or local byte mapping to string. So this is bad, but whatever. Star res byte map string is visible character buffer size, out string, pre-processed, no carriage return string, and then we'll say no carriage return string length and false. Okay, so let's just make this a bit nicer. Okay, and then we'll just say no carriage return string okay, and then after we do this, we're going to say free that. Okay, so yeah, we're basically going to allocate again, make another copy. So there's like 3 copies of the file here, which is completely unnecessary. But until I fix that, this is the way it's going to stay. We'll put it to do. To do, this is very gross. Instead of copying a million times, we should get rid of the local byte mapping garbage since it's not working well. I think it was a useful experiment. It just didn't turn out to be worth it in the end. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and just do no carriage return string here. Okay, and this is expecting a string. Good. I was going to say, this is going to be a problem because there's no null byte on this thing. So what we want to do is we actually want to do that and then no carriage return string length, which should be good. Const char star. Okay, and so now that should just like use the actual length. And I believe that length is the number of bytes. Yeah, that's the number of bytes. Okay, so we're good there. Okay, so now if we do this, we should get the correct positions and our highlighting should actually look right. Yeah, that looks correct. Cool. That's much more pleasant to look at than what I've been looking at for the past few days. So already I'm very happy. The one downside is if I had a character, everything's going to break. Wait a second. Yeah, everything broke. You can see the more I add characters, the more it breaks. So what we could do next, and I guess this is probably a good thing to have in the end, is we're going to add like an abstraction where it says like parse and highlight or something like that, right? And we're going to take in the position where a character was added and all that stuff so that when we add a character, it reparses and rehighlights. We're just going to do the full thing for now, which is bad because it means it's going to be very slow. But once I add in the optimizations where it's like only reparses the current line and all that stuff, it should be faster. I am curious to see how this looks compared to this. Yeah, you'll notice like this isn't highlighted in here, whereas here we have it highlighted. And then also weird, but for some reason they don't highlight the function keyword. I wonder if I'm using a different version of Lua here than what that parser was written for. The beauty of this is, though, we can go into here. Do they have functions? So they do have local and function here. But yeah, the beauty of this is we can go in here and then we can fix this stuff. So we do have keyword control Lua. I wonder if we actually got that here. So if we go all the way back up to the top, we should see like function. Ah, this is what's wrong. It's getting split for some reason. Null scope, comment double dash line. And then this F gets included here for some reason. Your function in the bottom is highlighted. Yeah, oh, it is. It is, you're right. And we do have a comment here too. And it's also highlighting to do. That's very weird. Like, does it have to do support in here too? To do. It does. Wow, that's also interesting. I didn't realize this was cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's weird that it's not actually getting this first one though. The comment is parsing one too far. So it correctly gets the new line, but then for some reason it's also including the F, which is very weird. And I would say it's the way that comments are parsed, but we have a comment down here, and yeah, this one is fine. Do I have a space at the end of this, I wonder? No, that's fine too. Wait, but this comment isn't colored correctly. I think the to-do messed this up. Okay, wait, so if I get rid of this, we save, reopen. Yeah, now this one's broken too. What if I add a new line here and here? And now it's good. Okay, well, that's some stuff we got to fix. This isn't correct. Before we do that though, we're going to commit, and then I want to change the background color. So first of all, we will go here. Yep, and we'll just say commit, add very basic syntax highlighting that needs to be fixed a lot. Okay. And that should be good. Cool. So that's good. And then I want to change the background color. That's what I wanted to do. So if we go to syntax theme, we're actually going to move this up. I may as well move that up here then too. There's an area where I actually draw the background of the text editor somewhere way up here. Maybe not. So these are all the hotkeys that are handled. Backspace, delete, text insertion, new line. And then right here is where I actually draw that stuff. Yes, handle rendering and mouse clicking. So we'll do this. And then we will go down to here. And instead of using the background color, we'll say panel dot, or actually no, syntax theme dot default background dot color. And we need to convert this to a color too. I wonder if there's a way. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little helper up here. Static inline im color get color or do vec4 const color return okay. That way we're not just like rewriting that every single time because it's annoying. So we'll do that. Do that. And I have one more area down here. And we can do this. And that makes it a little bit nicer. Okay, cool. So I'm curious if this is going to work because I don't actually know if that background color, I don't think it's always set. So if we actually go into the Monokai theme, I think it is set here. Yeah, so we do get a background color and it looks correct. But not all themes are required to provide that kind of information. So I don't think it always kind of works out the way you would expect it to. And I don't know what I set as the default for when it's not set. So that's kind of important too. Okay, cool. But yeah, you can see now the background is a darker color and the colors go together a little bit better. The cool thing about this now is we can change this theme very easily and it should just work. Yeah, so I'm going to do that real quick. We're going to add a little drop down up here. Maybe we'll just add it here. I don't know quite where to put that. Let's see. So let's go to menubar.cpp, edit. Okay. Do like IamGUI separator, IamGUI menu item. Actually, we can do if IamGUI menu. What is it called when you want to drop down? Just drop down or something? I don't know. Let's see. Begin menu. That makes sense. Okay, so if we do begin menu, themes, and I should probably like have this theme the whole editor, maybe? I don't know. We'll just do like code themes. That makes more sense. And then what? We want to do like end menu after this? Yes. And then we just want to do menu items. Okay. So IamGUI end menu. And then we can say for, let's go ahead and actually get hash include syntax highlighter, parser / syntax highlighter. And then code, or I guess editor /that. Okay. Okay. So then what we can do is we can say for const char star theme and themes something or other. What do we call this? Highlighter theme names. Okay. If IamGUI menu item theme name. I'm going to change this up a little bit. And do this so that we can actually get the index too. So we'll do this size, and actually we're gonna do like, I think a uint 8 because these are all this, which if we look at it is a uint 8, so that's what that should be. So we'll do that, and then that means we have to cast this. Okay, so we do that, we get the theme name. If we click on it, we want to say code editor panel manager set theme. We have get theme, so we can just add a void set theme. And I don't like adding extra includes, but looks like we got to, because enums we have to actually pass through like this. So we'll say syntax highlighter theme, or no, just syntax theme. Okay, we've got that. Another guy in the chat using code editor, code editor. Pretty sure that's cheating. I'm pretty sure you're right. We're gonna take all the help we can get though, because it's needed. Okay, so we got this. Oh, and that's wrong. That shouldn't be syntax theme. That should be something different. Okay, what is it called? Highlighter theme. That's what it should be. So change that. Change that. And now we can say, going up and just copying this. And we don't have to free the memory or anything because it's handled at the end of the application. So we'll just do this. And we're good. So now that's going to set the theme, but now we need to tell it, hey, you need to reparse all of your files. So this is where this helper function that I talked about that we probably need at some point anyways. Void reparse syntax. Yeah, that sounds right. So we'll do that. And we'll go find free. Right there. And then let's just go up to where we have this horrible code, but you know, it does the trick for now and we'll fix it later. Let's do this. Yep, parse the syntax. Yeah, do all that. Very gross. Yep. Reparse. Okay. So we go into here, and then what we're going to do is just do what we were doing before. Okay, if I can get this correct. So just change these to panel, these to dot, panel dot. Okay, we've got that. That's good. And then what we'll do inside of here is when we change the theme, we'll just go through for auto ref. I think this is a map, so I'm just going to look at what I'm doing up here. When I iterate, no, okay, so I do have a vector holding this stuff. So we'll do this, editor.panel. We'll say code editor panel, reparse syntax editor panel. Okay. Star that. Cool. So now we should be able to just change the theme like that, and it should just work. Here's the moment of truth, though, where we see if it actually does work the way it should. It would if I added my semicolons and actually set the theme here. So highlighter theme. And now we should be good. Let's try that again. Okay, so that's all good. I mean, it's not good. We're gonna have to fix that eventually, but it works good enough for now, as we can see. So we've got this theme. If I go into edit, code themes, we probably want to skip none, so I'll change that afterwards. If I go to Atom 1 Dark, everything just stopped. So that's not good. What's happening? We're logging multiple errors. Okay. Let's fix this a little bit. So first of all, let's go into here. Start at 1. Let's go into here where we have set theme. Let's go here and see what happens. It's not the result you hope for, you know, but at least it did something. Okay, so themes. Let's go Atom 1 Dark. Okay, that looks correct. That worked fine. We go into here. Okay, that's all fine. That's all fine. Oh. I copied the loop. This is why. Yeah, that would help. So the reason I didn't have it in the first loop is because sometimes you erase things, and so when you erase an iterator, it breaks things. So I didn't have that. But we kind of do want it here. So I think everything worked. It was just, it didn't quite work, you know? But now it really will work, so we should be good. Okay, so we go into here. We open that up. We hit edit. We say we want the Atom 1 dark theme. And look at that. Oh, that makes me happy. It's great to see that just work. Man, this is like months of work there, just right there. Okay, the text editor part was only a week old. You know, I've had the highlighting for a while with this, but seeing it actually work in a text editor that's functioning is something different, and it's very nice and satisfying to see this work. There are problems. There are a lot of problems, but we'll fix them. This is pretty cool. We can just switch to different themes. And it just works. Oh man, that is awesome. The coolest thing too about all of this is if you actually go to Visual Studio Code extensions. So if we go like VS Code extensions, right? And then you wanted a different theme, you could literally just look in here and say themes. I guess we don't want to say theme, but like say we want a theme. Okay, and sure. What is this? GitHub theme. No, that's the Atom, I think. Let's try this one. Wait. Is it not called theme? Let's try. What do I have so far? Because I do want to see if this works. Like it should. There's nothing saying that it shouldn't, but there's been problems every single time I try something. Okay, so we don't have Darkula. Let's go to Darkula. So if you go here and then like we go to the repository, you can actually go into the themes and we find this Darkula.json folder, right? And this looks familiar. That's because it is. So then if we just go copy this, and I could do this. I'm going to add like an import button and everything too. Wait, material theme. We have a suggestion. I've got to go back. We have to switch to the material theme because I got to do the suggestion instead. We'll see if it works. Do I already have that though? Editor, themes. No, I do not. Okay. Did you see that up here? I don't see it right here, but I might just be missing it. Let's just type it in. Material theme. Thank you, Natsu, by the way. Here we go. Material theme. Yeah, I think this is good. Okay, so yeah, if we just go to the repository, we go into here, we look for themes. This one might... Yeah, this one's a little bit different. See, and this is the problem too. Like VS Code supports so many different things. Not themes, but things on top. Oh, I totally missed it then. It was just on top there. Oh, right here. Oh, this is an icon theme. Yeah, see, so this is the problem too. VS Code has a lot of different things. This is just for the icons, which means if we actually go to the repository, we're not going to find the file we want, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, so this is basically just for icons, which is unfortunate. But if you actually go, usually what you'll find is like a themes folder with like the name of the theme and then the actual code there. And so then once you get that, you can go into something like this and we'll just save over it. Eventually I'm going to have it where you can import themes because that makes sense. And so now when we load, we should see Darkula. Is this Darkula? No, this is still one Monokai. Did I save over the wrong thing? One Monokai color theme. Wait, maybe I have two. Oh, we have Monokai Night and then we have one Monokai. Okay, so this is the one. Yeah, so you can see it's changed. And now if I like delete this, or I guess just go back. So we go back here. This is what it was originally. And then I relaunch it. We're going to see that it's different now. Which is very cool because this means like I don't have to do the work of coming up with colors and all that stuff because I stink at that. That's not my strong suit. Yeah, so now you can see it's different. This is just the one Monokai. I think it's like a mixture of Atom, which is the one theme, and then Monokai, which is just different. But yeah, this is awesome. I am very happy to see this work out. This means too, like now we can kind of test things a little bit. It's not very nice, but like if I go in here and then do that, it reparses everything and we can see. And you can see the reparsing, it's pretty fast. But the problem is, even though it's pretty fast here, once you start typing, it slows down so much. And it's because I reparse the entire file. The way that these themes work, and you can see we have some problems here too. Like I don't think this is right. I think we should be getting some coloring like that, but it's because of this comment. And we got something wrong in the parser. Yeah, because now it works fine. But the way that the grammars and stuff work is you should be able to reset from the line you're currently on and just reparse the current line. And then that should fix things. The problem is I have to go in and fix this tree representation, because the tree representation I have here is just a flat tree, and it is horrible to iterate through. We actually kind of saw that with the buffer underflow thing. Check buffer. Inside of here, check buffer. Yeah, so to iterate through the tree, you have to do all this stuff, and it's not fun. So I got to fix it. This shows it a little bit better, but it's very gross. It doesn't work very well. Yeah, and so I've got to fix up that tree representation, make it easier to insert things, remove things, and then once I get that done, we can go in and like fix stuff like this, and it should be good. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far though. Very cool. Thank you everybody for watching. I think we can call this a success, the first one in a while. I'll go ahead and make this faster, fix up some of the bugs we ran into and some of the other things. And then we probably want to add tests at some point too. But thank you all for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting, and I'll see you next week with hopefully more progress. All right.